And breaking news on the Daily Wrap tonight is former Speaker of the House Denny Hastert is indicted on federal charges. We have the details. Governor George Pataki joins the ever-growing list of candidates running for president. Does he have any shot at the nomination? Donald Trump expected to make a big announcement. Wonder what that could be about. And former Senator Rick Santorum, another candidate, has some choice words for Josh Duggar. Trust me when I say he isn't following in Mike Huckabee's footsteps. We've got all that, plus potluck and yay and nay. This is the Daily Wrap, live from New York City. And welcome to the show. I'm Joe Concha, and joining me is Sirius XM radio host, senior political columnist for Forbes, and my co-host, Rick Unger. Thank you, sir. To his right, Philly attorney and America's pundit, Heather Hansen. And joining us later, he's the editor of the Wisdom Daily, Rabbi Brad Hirschfield. Will be here, we promise. All right, it's time for the Daily Download. And let's start with some breaking news. Former Speaker of the House, Denny Hastert, has been indicted, as we told you before. Rick Unger has the details. Rick.
Two charges. One of them is a banking violation having to do with structuring payments. What that means, and the indictment's very careful not to name who's involved beyond Hastert, but the allegation is that he's been making a $3.5 million payment to an individual they identify only as individual A, and it's for a prior past misconduct. The problem is he began withdrawing sums of money, keeping it under $10,000 because banks have to report and you have to fill out a form when you do a transaction that exceeds $10,000. He was avoiding that. To make it even worse, when he was questioned by the FBI, he allegedly lied to the FBI. So the charges, if he's convicted, carry up to 5 years on each one of them and a $250,000 fine on each one of them. The longest-serving Republican Speaker of the House is in big trouble tonight.
Wow. Well, certainly we'll be talking about this more in the coming days and weeks, no question about it. Moving on to Baltimore, lawyers for 6 police officers there charged in the death of Freddie Gray are asking for a change of venue, while the prosecutor faces new accusations of bias. State Attorney Marilyn Mosby is under fire after her personal Twitter account was seen favoriting some provocative tweets. Let's take a look at some. One tweet called the police officers, quote, those 6 thug cops, which was favorited, as you can see circled, by Mosby. While another tweet, liked by her account, I should say, was one that she said, quote, infuriates a certain kind of white person. That was by Amy Alexander, not by Mosby. Let's make that clear. It was just favorited by her. But Mosby says someone hacked into her Twitter account and that she was not the one who favorited those tweets. Let's make that clear. Last month, Mosby's impartiality was questioned in the way she announced the charges against the officers.
To the people of Baltimore and the demonstrators across America, I heard your call for no justice, no peace. Your peace is sincerely needed as I work to deliver justice on behalf of this young man.
Now, in addition to asking for a change of venue, defense lawyers also filed a motion demanding Mosby rescue herself. We're also learning today that Mosby's first true appearance on the national stage actually came 15 years ago, at the age of 20, on, of all places, Judge Judy.
I'm going to get every cent that you're suing for, judgment for the plaintiff.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I feel like finally there's some justice served.
I guess she was mad at me about the whole situation. But I have no hard feelings.
I've tried to speak to the DA, I've spoke to police officers, and finally, Judge Judy, she finally gave me justice.
You can find anything on YouTube these days, apparently. So these latest developments come as Baltimore is seeing a surge in violence since the death of Freddie Gray. Just today, a woman and an 8-year-old boy were shot to death in southwest Baltimore. That makes 38 homicides this month, the worst month in more than 15 years. Let's bring in legal analyst and attorney Eric Guster, fresh off the streets of Manhattan and looking quite composed, my friend.
Yes. May not cut it.
An Alabama boy can take a little heat.
Yes, good job. Birmingham, right?
Yes, Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay, very good. So Mosby says that her Twitter account was hacked. And it seems like every celebrity, whenever this sort of thing happens, uses that excuse and nobody buys it. Do you buy it?
I don't know. And Twitter can get so many people in trouble. That's why you have to be extremely careful with social media at all, you have to make sure you don't like certain things, retweet certain things, share different things on your page, because when you share those things, then it's out there for everyone to see, and then that does give the impression of impropriety or some type of bias, even if you don't mean it, because she probably just liked posts as they come. You know, when people tweet you, you like and retweet them and don't half read them, and that could have gotten her in a little trouble with this one.
I would find it really hard to believe that she was hacked, because it was only two things that were favorited. It's not as if she was hacked and then she was out there tweeting
They were arbitrary
things.
and they happened to be.
Right, and they happened to be just likes, favorites. It seems a little bit of a stretch for me, and I think it's consistent with what we've seen from her thus far.
Do you think she has an impartiality problem?
Yeah, I mean, to say the least. I think she has a huge impartiality problem, and in a case as important as this, I think that it's important that we have someone who can really be a bastion of justice and not any semblance
Fair
of
question,
impartiality.
Well, first of all, I think it's important to note that the state's attorney's Twitter account was also hacked 3 weeks ago, and there's no disagreement that it happened. So it's not a very hard stretch to imagine if somebody was hacking her account at the state's attorney's office that they might hack her personal account. So since you cannot in any way, shape, or form show that she's lying, sometimes it pays to give her the benefit of the doubt, even if you think she's the worst human being that ever lived. Now, on that topic, can we talk about the Judge Judy thing? Because I know you think it was just grandstanding or something, right?
No.
Do you know why people go on Judge Judy?
There's a number of different reasons they may go on it.
Name one.
15 minutes of fame?
No.
That
Wrong
most
one.
certainly may not be the one you wanted.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you a much better one.
One.
I'll give you a much better one. Imagine yourself a 20-year-old college student. You get damaged by your neighbor. You don't have the money to hire an attorney, but more importantly, do you know what happens when you go on Judge Judy and you win?
They pay for everything, and they fly you to LA.
Yes, they do, and they pay for everything.
Get you some time
So
on
her
television.
$2,000 was
It could have been
guaranteed.
that she just wanted to be a lawyer.
Well,
she could have just wanted to be a lawyer, and she's litigating a case, and this is her one chance before actually going to law school that she can litigate a case in front of Judge Judy. Who doesn't want to be in front of Judge Judy?
I think it was probably more likely she wanted. I don't either. I think it was more likely she wanted to get her $2,000, which is a ton of money.
Claims court in her local
And how would she have
jurisdiction.
collected?
So she got entitled to.
In small claims?
No, she could have gotten a judgment. How would she have collected?
The same way that she collected under this.
No, you're wrong. I'm sorry. She collected on this from the show. Judge Judy pays the $2,000.
Now we're stretching. We're stretching
not
like
the
Stretch
defendant.
Armstrong right now in connecting Judge Judy to this case.
No, I'm not.
Yes,
Well,
yes, we
no,
are.
you're stretching when
It's
you
like-
bring it up. Exactly.
Yeah,
But since it's brought up, I think we should be fair about it.
I don't think dissecting
Eric, last word.
why she went to Judge Judy is really a
it's
big
not.
issue. But as far as impropriety, I think she should stay on the case. I believe that since I know there's a big issue about campaign donations, and there's not one DA who's run that has not gotten multiple donations from police to defense lawyers and prosecutors, everyone else. So I don't see that as that big of an
Do you
issue.
think the announcement when she listed the charges was a little bit political? In other words, it wasn't just were these officers are indicted here, here, here. It seemed to be more like a political speech.
Well, the community wants transparency in the process, and that's what so many people have called for transparency with Ferguson and other cases. They just want to know what's going on, and that's why she read the charges, told them what the details were, the basic details, not what someone said, not that someone admitted something or told on someone else. She was just talking about the basics, which is really in a court record that anyone can go down to the courthouse, pull the file, and look at anyway. So I don't think it was overstretching it.
Okay.
By the way, there's only one reason why that you could even come close to a recusal here, and that's her relationship with the attorney for the family. But the attorney for the family is not in any way, shape, or form involved in the court case with the defendants. So there is absolutely no valid reason that she should recuse herself.
Absolutely.
There's actually some lawyers out there that says she should be disbarred altogether.
Yeah, I know. Local lawyers,
people can
many
say
of
anything.
them. Yeah, and there's a strong argument. The Maryland Court of Appeals actually came down with a decision that a state's attorney in Maryland prior to her, similar statements, and that lawyer was highly disciplined
But not
for those types of
disbarred for
statements.
that.
Disbarred is
No,
She
I've
can't
never.
be disbarred for that.
Well,
No, you can't. What law did she break? What ethics law did
it's
she break?
3.6 Maryland Rule of
Which says
professional
what?
that says that extrajudicial. I mean, you want to get into this?
We have to go. No, there's no way we're going to have time for
extrajudicial
that.
Not a
Exactly.
disbarable
Coming up
offense.
next, George Pataki jumps into the presidential race, and Brad Hirschfield joins us on the panel. Keep it right here on Newsmax TV. Eric, thanks for joining us, by the way.